Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop. We're going to be talking about 7 kitchen herbs every woman needs for hormones, immunity, and gut health. And I'm so glad that you're joining here today with me. I'm Beth Krause, founder of Grace Anatomy Functional Health and Nutrition. And over the years, I've seen how small, simple steps like growing a few key herbs in your own kitchen or your garden can create powerful and lasting shifts in your woman's health journey. So today we're going to explore just 7 herbs, and really this is just very common herbs, and this is just the starting point. So I will we're just gonna go easy. These are easy herbs to grow, but they are so nourishing for your body. And I'll break down how they support your hormones, your immunity, and your gut health. So they're broad and they're easy. I'll also share a few practical growing tips for each one, plus some ways to weave them into your daily routine. But before we dive in, let's talk about why herbs even matter, especially for women. So herbs are more than just flavor for your food. They're rich in bioactive compounds, like things like polyphenols, antioxidants, and phytoestrogens. They gently modulate our body's systems, bringing us into balance. And for women, this is really huge because our hormones naturally fluctuate. We are all so very used to these fluctuating hormones, aren't we? So herbs can act as a buffer when we're going through monthly cycles, stress, perimenopause, menopause, and they help smooth out these fluctuations and by supporting our overall balance. But the ones we're talking about today are also wonderful immune allies because women are often juggling multiple roles, and that can put stress on our immune systems. So we're going to be talking about herbs like thyme, rosemary, and sage, and they've been used for centuries to help keep pathogens at bay and really help beef up our body's natural defenses. They are ones that I use consistently in my own natural day-to-day living. And then when it comes to gut health, herbs really take center stage. This is where they really shine. Our gut isn't just about digestion. It's where our hormones are metabolized and where 70% of our immune system lives. So you've heard it before if you've watched any of my other YouTubes. A healthy gut is the foundation of a healthy body. So here's what I really love. You don't need a big garden or fancy equipment to get started. These herbs, and this is why I love herbs, you can grow them in a sunny kitchen window. You can grow them on a balcony or in a small pot by your door. You can grow them inside, you can grow them outside, you can grow them all year long, no matter where you live. You can grow herbs. So whether you live in an apartment or on a farm like I do, these herbs are definitely for you. And you know what? If you're saying, I don't have a green thumb, I don't really want to even grow them, then don't. This is the time and the season, especially for us in the Midwest, where we have local farmers markets. Go source your herbs. The fun thing for me to grow my own herbs is because I know where they're coming from. They taste fresher, and when I need them, I can just go out and get them. But then to store them for the winter time, then I am able to preserve them and use them in my teas, my tinctures, and my culinary creations throughout the winter as well. So that is a draw for me to be growing them. But if that stresses you out, then don't grow them. Source them. And there's several different ways you can do that. Farmers market is one, a co-op is another, and then you can always buy dried herbs as well. All right, let's get started. So the 7 kitchen herbs I believe every woman should start to have on hand, and we'll cover each one in depth, but I'll give you a quick preview here, okay? So if you have a pencil and paper, or if you don't, go grab one. The first one is basil. So these are going to be common. You guys are going to go, what? I've heard of all of these. And yes, you have. And so this is why this is going to be, I think, a fun herbal lesson for all of you. Basil is number 1. Rosemary, peppermint, sage, thyme, lemon balm, and parsley. All right, now that you have your list of 7, let's start. So basil. The Latin names always get me tripped up when I try to say them, but if you're up for a good chuckle, basil is the official name is Ocimum basilicum. So let's start with basil, one of the most loved kitchen herbs by most people. I do know a few people that do not care for basil. But in the hormone side, basil is an adaptogen. It helps your body kind of deal with or adapt to the stress, and it helps support your adrenal glands. And this means it can help buffer the effects of cortisol, our main stress hormone, which in turn supports more balanced estrogen and progesterone levels. For immunity's sake, basil is rich in eugenol. I probably said that wrong. I mispronounced several terms, which has antimicrobial and antiviral effects. It's like a gentle shield against colds, flu, and gut bugs. And for our gut health, basil also has what's called a carminative property. It helps reduce like bloating and gas, and it helps ease digestive discomfort. So when you're cooking with basil, or you use basil in a tea or a tincture, basil can help support all 3 of those things. So cooking with basil, eating basil, excellent herb to be cooking with. So for those of you that want to try growing basil, basil is easy to grow. Basil loves warmth and sunlight, and you can pinch off the tops regularly to encourage it to get more bushy in its growth. And if you're harvesting it often, it will continue giving you a supply of basil leaves all season long. All right, let's go to rosemary. Rosmarinus officinalis. So for your hormones, rosemary supports circulation and liver health. 2 keys for hormone balance for sure. So the liver is where our estrogen is metabolized. So a happy liver means smoother cycles and fewer PMS issues. Now we could go deeper in each of these, but I'm just giving you a brief overview today. For immunity, rosemary is loaded with carnosic acid, a powerful antioxidant. This helps protect our cells from oxidative stress, which is especially important as we are going into our golden years. through perimenopause and menopause, correct? So, and then for our gut health, rosemary stimulates bile flow and it aids in digestion of fats and supporting a sluggish gallbladder. Now, rosemary is going back to immunity. When we get to one of our other herbs, rosemary really loves working with one of our other herbs that we're going to be talking about. So we'll revisit rosemary in a little bit. Growing rosemary can be a little tricky. Rosemary loves full sun, and it's a little hard to establish because it does not like wet feet, right? So you have to make sure that rosemary is in a well-draining pot or a well-draining area. If you're going to plant it, it is a perennial, which means it'll come back year after year once it's established. But it's getting it established that can be a little tricky. So it doesn't mind growing in the rocks or a sandier soil, but don't put it in a soil that's going to maintain a ton of moisture because it doesn't like its roots to stay soaked. Once it's established though, it can go it's pretty drought tolerant. So it's a pretty hardy herb once you can get it going. Peppermint. Now, peppermint is part of the mint family, and there's a lot of herbs in the mint family. And as many of you have probably, if you're a tea lover, you have probably heard about all the mints. And maybe you already have peppermint in your tea stash. For hormones, peppermint can be especially soothing for women who struggle with PMS-related headaches or even digestive discomfort. For your immunity, it's menthol rich. It's got a lot of essential oils, and they have antimicrobial and antiviral properties. So it makes a great ally during cold season. And for your gut health, peppermint is famous for relaxing gut spasms and easing IBS-like symptoms. So if you've ever felt crampy after a meal, peppermint is a wonderful go-to tea to drink. It's also great for relieving like tension headaches. A peppermint essential oil placed on either your temples or the points on the back of your head. The growing tips for peppermint is that peppermint loves water and it will spread if you let it. So if you have an area and you want to plant it in a garden area and you don't want it to take over your whole garden, plant it in a pot. Otherwise, it will become a ground cover and it will take over whatever area. If you have an area that you want filled in, any one of the mints is great to be able to take over. So spearmint, peppermint, just mint, catmint, their lemon balm, they're all part of the mint family and they will take over a large portion of your garden. So if you don't want them to do that, you can dig a hole, put the pot in the hole and plant them in the pot, and then remove that pot and bring your mint into your indoors in the summertime or in the wintertime when it gets chillier. All right. Sage. Now, sage is beautiful. It gives a different depth to your garden because of its silvery leaves that are just a little bit soft to the touch. And it's got a long history of supporting women's health. Sage has been traditionally used to ease hot flashes and support smoother transitions through menopause. It's also helpful for balancing estrogen levels naturally without adding extra estrogen to your system. Sage for immunity has antimicrobial compounds, and it makes a wonderful herb for like sore throats and your oral health. So gargling with a sage tea can soothe inflamed oral tissue or even inflamed throats. And for your gut health, like rosemary, sage stimulates bile flow. So it does help you digest those heavier meals. Sage likes full sun and also likes well-draining soil. It is also a perennial and it's pretty hardy, so it'll come back year after year in many climates. But again, make sure that its roots do not remain wet or you'll kill it like I did my first time. Now, sage mixed with red clover and even blue violet make a great hot flash tea. All right, thyme. Thymus vulgaris. This tiny powerhouse packs a big punch. So this is, I use thyme so much, not only in cooking, but in steams and in tea, in my gut heal tea blend. It is just a really great little herb and very underappreciated in a lot of cooking kitchens. But for hormones, thyme indirectly supports the progesterone balance by calming inflammation and stress, which are big hormone disruptors. In the immunity, thyme is high in thymol, a potent antimicrobial compound, and it's been shown to inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria, fungi, and even some viruses. Now, that herb that I was talking about that likes to pair well with rosemary, thyme is rosemary's buddy. So you take the immunity boosting compounds of rosemary, the rosmarin, and you take the thyme, the thymol, and you put those together in a steam when you have any sinus congestion or you're starting to get upper respiratory issues, and you make a thyme and rosemary steam and you breathe that in. Oh my word, you have a powerhouse combination. Or you make a thyme and a rosemary tea. I am telling you, it is, get that the minute you find a tickle going on in your throat or your sinuses, and it will help knock it out. Gut health. Thyme fights off gut pathogens while supporting the beneficial bacteria by creating a healthy and balanced microbiome. Thyme is very compact and hardy. And again, this is also a perennial in most regions. It's perfect also for a windowsill or in a raised bed. It likes sun, but it also doesn't need much water. So it's a great little herb. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis. Lemon balm has such a gentle, calming energy, and it's very perfect for stress relief. It even helps with that calming energy, mixed with some peppermint, depending on your constitution, and some chamomile at night before you go to bed. This can help induce a nice, calm, not sleep, but helps your mind relax enough if you have a racing mind, help you to go into a sleep routine as part of your sleep routine. For your hormones, lemon balm soothes the nervous system. It helps calm the adrenals and it reduces cortisol driven or induced imbalances. It's a wonderful herb for women who feel like they're always on the edge. So if you're that woman, make a really strong infusion of lemon balm tea and drink that throughout the day. For immunity, lemon balm is antiviral, especially against like herpes viruses, the cold sores, canker sores. This could help with those things. And for your gut health, it relaxes gut tension and eases the nervous stomachs. Like if you always feel like you're kind of just a little bit nauseous, it helps with that, which is so important because stress really impacts our digestion. And so when our digestion is impacted, then we also don't absorb the nutrients because we're not digesting them properly. Now, lemon balm loves partial shade and does prefer moist soil. And if you harvest it regularly, it doesn't become too woody or stalky. But again, lemon balm is part of the mint family, so it will spread and take over an area. So a good place to plant lemon balm, where maybe you don't care if it takes over an area, might be in a window well that you could easily access. And then make sure that you are going down there and harvesting it so that you use it. And last but not least is parsley. Now, how many of you could honestly say that you appreciate parsley? Not many of us, right? Parsley is one that I like to grow because it is so good for us and really underappreciated. Most of us think that parsley is just a garnish. But for our hormones, parsley is so rich in chlorophyll, and it helps support liver detox pathways like you wouldn't believe. It's key for clearing excess estrogen and promoting our hormonal balance, which is really important if you're struggling with issues with your hormones, and especially for those of us that are going through perimenopause and menopause. So do not underestimate parsley for your hormones. For our immunity, it's also high in vitamin C, which helps strengthen our immune defenses. And for our gut, parsley acts as a mild diuretic, helping reduce that bloating. And also, if we have a stagnant liver or like issues with our microbiome in our gut, it freshens your breath. Both signs of a healthy gut environment. If you have bloating and you have bad breath, you have an unhealthy gut. So parsley can help start to balance those two things out. Parsley loves the sun and a regular trimming. It keeps it from getting too stalky. It'll keep producing fresh leaves for months if you keep cutting it back. And you can add parsley to your morning smoothie. Add parsley and celery and kale. You could have a fantastic morning smoothie. So why do these herbs work? Let's pause for just a moment and reflect on why these 7 herbs are really so powerful. The reason they are, I mentioned it right away in the beginning, is because they're not one-dimensional. We just touched on 3 key areas of women's health, and actually everyone's health, with every single one of these herbs. Each one supports multiple systems in the body: hormonal health, immune boosting, defense, and gut balance. Because the body itself is beautifully interconnected. So for example, when you're under stress, your cortisol levels go up. It impacts your sex hormones and your gut health. When your gut health is off, it can increase your inflammation. And increasing inflammation impacts your immune system and even your mental health. So these herbs offer gentle support across all these systems, helping bring you back to center and give your whole system better balance. So let's talk about how to actually use these herbs day to day. All right, this is where it gets fun. Fresh teas. Walk out to your pot, or maybe you're growing it inside your kitchen, or maybe you went to the farmer's market. However you got these leaves or these herbs, do fresh teas. Super simple. You can do a lemon balm and peppermint tea to calm your digestion and your nerves. Or maybe you want them more long term and you want to use them, longer. So do herb infused vinegars, or infuse your olive oils for salad dressings, or your avocado oil to give it more flavor. How about taking fresh rosemary or thyme, or both, depending on how strong you want the flavor. One thing I will tell you with rosemary, if you're going to use rosemary in your cooking, you do have to cook it. You can't use rosemary fresh unless you use it in a tea. Rosemary is made to be roasted, sauteed, or used in a tea or a tincture, something like that. You can't eat rosemary just on a salad. Okay, that's something you do need to know. So toss fresh rosemary or thyme into your vegetables and then roast it in the oven. It will flavor your vegetables wonderfully. Use parsley or basil in your green smoothies or your fresh salads. Or make a sage or thyme gargle if you're fighting a sore throat. Or put thyme and rosemary together and do a steam or a tea if you're fighting anything upper respiratory or sinus related. Start with what feels easy and what is accessible for you. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't make it complicated. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about starting with a daily connection so that it's easy for you to achieve one step at a time. And again, the beauty of growing your own herbs is not just about the fresh flavor. It's about giving you back the power, empowering you to know that this herb I know is for this, and I can use it in this way because it's nurturing me, my body, for this reason. When you nurture the plants, you're also nurturing your own health. You're reclaiming your kitchen as your first line of healing. And it's a simple act, but it sends a powerful message to your body. You're telling your body that I'm choosing life, I'm choosing nourishment, I'm choosing balance. So I want you to really embrace the idea of being able to look out your window and smile at your plants and be able to walk out your door and cut an herb off or a plant off and know what it's doing for your body and be excited about it. And if 7 herbs is too much for you to think about one. Choose one herb to start with. When I was going through school, that is what we sat with for a whole month. We chose one herb and we sat with that herb for a whole month, tasting it every single day, preparing it in a different way for a whole month, and learning what it did in our own system, in our own body. So start with one if this is new to you. Put it in your window, your garden, go to the farmer's market for the first time or to a co-op. Learn its taste. What does it look like? Learn what it smells like. And know that it's a gift, right? It's a gift to be able to feel it, smell it, know what it's doing for your body. And then let this be an invitation to your deeper healing, not through drastic change, but through small daily changes and choices. But if you'd like to go deeper, and maybe you're curious about how these herbs fit with your own blood work, your own unique hormone profile, or your gut health, I'd love to connect with you one-on-one. So in the description, in the comment section, I've left a link so that you can book a call with me so we can create a plan that's truly tailored to your body, your story, and your healing journey. I'd love to walk along that journey with you. So I am so excited, and I thank you for joining me today. May these herbs bless your kitchen and your body, bringing you strength, balance, and peace. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear them in the comment section below, and let me know which one of these herbs you're getting excited to learn more about and which ones you're going to try. See you next week. Bye for now.